What I'm hearing is I don't have a problem with fat people. I have a problem with fat people who are not willing to stop being fat. Isn't that a problem with fat people? I have a lot of thoughts about this. This is in reference to my thin privilege video where I talk about the fact that I've always lived in a small body and therefore am afforded privileges that people who've always lived in larger bodies or people that currently live in large bodies are not afforded. And here's the thing. Anyone who's watching this video who agrees with me, there was probably a point in your life where you also thought that being in a larger body was unhealthy and a problem to be solved.
Because it is.
Correct? So I am asking from both myself and from you, if you agree with me, to bring some compassion to the table. And if you are somebody who believes this guy, to start looking at more research that shows that being in a large body is not a bad thing.
Notice how she says, look for research that says being in a larger body isn't unhealthy, as opposed to look at research objectively. Hold on, y'all smell that? That smells like confirmation bias.
And not a problem to be solved. And even if it were unhealthy, it's ableist to think that way. All bodies are worthy of respect.
It's ableist to think that we should do what we can to change unhealthy bodies. Can't argue with that, I guess.
Before I posted that video yesterday, I posted this tweet. Got a little bit of attention on Twitter. Honestly, most people were cool. This guy, though, had something to say. And this argument just always baffles me as a person with, I think, a lot of self-control. Self-control that has helped me not drink alcohol for 5 years. Self-control that helps me kill it in my career. It's unimaginable for these people that fat people have self-control. Because if fat people do have self-control, then there's not much keeping these people from getting fat themselves. And that's just gotta be crushing for them.
If obese people had self-control specifically regarding their diet, which you conveniently neglected to mention, they wouldn't be obese. Unless you have a condition such as Prader-Willi, which causes an insatiable appetite, this is going to be the case. The typical obese American can enter a calorie deficit and choose to maintain it. The problem is they don't choose to. As for your bit about not much keeping me from being fat, I'd agree. If I engage in the behaviors of your typical obese American, I too will end up fat. I get around that by not engaging in those activities. Crazy concept, I know.
You're still going. All right, so here, obesity is not a welcome word. So again, if you're not sure why that is, that's okay. The world is anti-fat. I get that. I really know that. So we don't use that word. It's a medicalized, pathologized word.
So you want to have a scientific discussion, but you don't want to use the scientific jargon. Genius.
And again, if you're not sure why and what that means, that's okay. No judgment. You will learn a lot here. In Australia, it is not a health condition. It is not a disease. In the States, maybe that's where you are, it is. And that's also not an agreed upon reality. It just is. Because we hate fat people. Just let me be clear. It's because we hate fat people. It's not because obesity is a disease. Now, no one ever said the food we eat doesn't impact our weight. I never said that. I said it's not a cause and effect. It's not I eat this, I gain weight. It doesn't work like that.
That's an oversimplification. In reality, it works like this. I eat over my total daily energy expenditure, I gain weight. Quite simple.
Question box, just eat less. Just. As if it's so...
Not only is it stigmatizing, but it's literally just like factually incorrect. Body positive union organizer here on TikTok. What a lot of y'all don't know though is before I was body positive, I was like really inundated with diet culture. And I actually was one of Marissa's clients, and she really helped me break free from diet culture and the white supremacist thin ideal that I had in my head.
Oh, look, a white woman talking about white supremacy like she experiences it. We've never seen that before.
So I broke from that, and she's really great. Definitely follow her for more intuitive eating and like food neutral, body neutral content. That being said,
I have to, as her favorite biochemist, prove her right by showing an academic paper. So, calories in, calories out, just eat less. It's literally been proven wrong again and again. It's outdated. It's from like the 60s.
So she says this scientific paper debunks the notion of calories in versus calories out. Now, how does it do that? We don't know because she doesn't explain, but lucky for all of you, your Uncle Hotep is here to break it down. This paper was published in 2018 by Ludwig and Ebling, and it proposes that the explosion in obesity is due to the quantity and quality of carbohydrates in their diet, which causes hormonal changes, insulin in particular, that results in fat accumulation, resulting in overeating, as opposed to overeating always causing obesity. This paper by no means debunks the calories in, calories out model, and it even says the overconsumption of calories can lead to weight gain. But it posits that this is not the reason for the obesity epidemic. I could end my response here, but this is an interesting hypothesis and I want to talk about it. Let's put it to the test in two ways. Based on this model, I can make two predictions. One, if the model is true, a calorie deficit with high carbs and low carbs matched by calories should produce significant differences in fat loss. And two, significant differences in fat loss in individuals who are insulin sensitive and insulin resistant on a diet of the same calories should be expected. Fortunately for us, we have this 2022 paper by Naud and colleague that can help us address both predictions. This paper reviewed 61 randomized controlled trials to compare weight loss in insulin-sensitive and insulin-resistant obese individuals fed a diet consisting of low carbs or high/balanced carbs. And what they found is that the differences weren't significant between groups of obese individuals regardless of high carb or low carb diet. It's calories in, calories out. It's simple, but for the sake of argument, let's assume the original paper is correct. Well, then the new problem is obese people are consuming too many poor quality carbohydrates. The solution to that is consume less carbs. No matter which model is correct, both models posit that obesity is a condition caused by overconsumption in some manner.
I've been thinking about something since a client session earlier today, and I wonder if this helps you as you work on your relationship to food and how you feel about your body. When inquiring as to why a client felt that her food choices were wrong, what made them wrong, she had a few concepts, a few ideas, and that's really normal. And what they all boil down to is this, that some of them would cause her to gain weight. Now, I'm not going to actually discuss that part. I more want to kind of raise that as that's how we are kind of socialized in a fat phobic world, to believe, first of all, that we can directly contribute to our weight based on what we eat. False.
That's actually true, but continue.
But that also that therefore means foods are good or bad, or healthy, unhealthy. And none of those things are the same. That's just the pursuit of thinness, not the pursuit of health or well-being. What do you think?
I'm glad you asked what I think. I think everything in moderation is fine. Do you want a little Debbie's cupcake? Fine. Eat the damn thing. But maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't sit and have 8 in one sitting on a regular basis. Just a thought.
You care about the health of fat people? Stop spreading the lie that fat people don't care about their own health. But you don't really care about fat people, do you?
You can care about something and not care enough to fix issues it may have. For example, I may care about my favorite shirt, but I don't care enough to keep it if I get ink on it. To put it simply, there's levels to this shit. Do fat people care about their health? Sure, maybe they do. Do they care enough to lose the weight to reduce the risk of a litany of diseases? Nope.
I have seen my body behave against anything that we've been taught about a common sense, calories in, calories out, but if you do keto and cut the carbs. And the crazy thing is, for years, even seeing that my body wasn't reacting to what every other body should react, I don't know, a water fast. Everybody should lose weight on a water fast. I was managing to put on weight for days.
Oh God, you set off the bullshit alarm. In all seriousness, you were doing a water fast and managed to gain weight? Are you trying to fool me or yourself? Where did the new mass come from? Did you pull nutrients from the soil like a plant? Please let us know how you did this so we can solve world hunger. Come on now. This is a scientific impossibility and you're only lying to yourself.
Looks like someone's mad. Go cry about it, bitch.
The video says, to the dudes in my comment, when I say a high BMI does not mean that someone is unhealthy. And I mean, I agree to a certain extent, but I'd say a high body fat percentage certainly means someone is unhealthy.
Fat people are beautiful. Fat people are sexy. Fat bodies are good bodies. There's nothing wrong with having a fat body. If you disagree, see yourself out.
This is a great video and all, but these things are not mutually exclusive. Like, you can not be fat and not have an ED. Like, it's possible.
So just chill out. You know, drink a 7-Up, eat a moon pie, quit murdering people.
No one fucking said this.
What does fat liberation have to do with Pride Month?
Absolutely nothing.
Let me tell you. Number 1, till all of us are free, none of us are free. Period.
Free from what? Your own overconsumption? There's places I can legally be killed for being gay. Meanwhile, you live in a country where you can be poor and 300 pounds. We are not the same.
Number 2, as with all amazing things in this world, fat, black, queer, disabled women began the body positivity movement. To them, I am standing here.
Okay, so I heard fat black women started the body positivity movement, but now they're queer and disabled. Okay, the body positivity lore is really dope and all, but I don't feel like there's enough identities. What if we made them fat, black, queer, disabled women who also happen to be bald? Huh? What do you think? In all seriousness, I see through what you're doing. You're stacking marginalized groups on the originators of your movement in order to provide it with some sort of validity. But here's the thing. This statement isn't based in any sort of evidence, and even if it was true, it doesn't give the movement any more validity. Not everything that comes out of the mouths of black women is the gospel truth.
And 3, as I unpacked my own fat phobia, I realized how much other shit is completely made up. Gender, sexual norms, heteronormativity, capitalism, racism, what else? I mean, all of it made up. So I am all for every person living their life happily. And that's it. Not hard. What connections do you find in your own fat liberation with the world around you? Put them in the comments. I'd love to know. Happy Pride.
Fantastic video, but you forgot to explain how fat liberation and pride are connected exactly?
So something that may not come very intuitively to many of us, especially if you're a white woman like myself, is how our participation in diet culture and the pursuit of the thin ideal is a form of racism. It's upholding the white supremacist ideals.
We want. Shut when you think about it.
Anyway, with that said, I want to apologize for my long hiatus, and I want to thank you all for sticking around and supporting me in that hiatus, and I'll catch you on the flip.